When we first met Willie Davis, his rise from custodian to coach read like a fairy tale. But the happily ever after part has gone awry.
Things was rolling real good for me, then all of a sudden it's like my whole world just got turned backwards.
Celebrating 10 years of real sports. From our studios in New York, your host, Bryant Gumbel.
3 years ago, we profiled an unassuming man in Louisiana named Willie Davis, whose story of struggle and success was, we thought, pretty inspiring. You see, Davis started from a lowly position at his local school to become a respected leader of youngsters. So we wondered what had become of Mr. Davis since our report first aired. Unfortunately, as Armin Katayan discovered, not all great stories guarantee great endings.
Here is where you can find Willie Davis almost every morning, tending to the community ball fields, by himself, a coach without a team. It's not what we expected to see from the man we first met 3 years ago.
Overall, how would you say, how has your life turned out since the story aired?
I would say it was turned backwards. You know, I was focused. I thought I was featured on HBO. Things was rolling real good for me. Then all of a sudden, it's like my whole world just got turned backwards.
We first visited Alexandria, Louisiana in 2002 to profile one of the most extraordinary coaches in this or any state. And our story brought Davis more attention than he ever imagined. But it wasn't enough to keep him from losing the one job he loved.
You miss those kids, Willie?
Oh, I miss them like a hog mixed slop. Yeah, I miss them real bad.
Like a hog misses slop?
Yeah.
That's a lot of missing, Willie.
That's a lot of missing.
This is where our story first began, in this gym, when Willie Davis's life was at the center of all this hubbub. Back then, he was at the helm of the 8th grade basketball team, the run-and-gun Rattlers of Arthur F. Smith Junior High School. For many of these kids, this was as good as it got. Here along the Red River in central Louisiana, thousands of people live at or below the poverty line, raising kids in a state home to one of the highest high school dropout rates in the country. 1 in 4 of Alexandria's children come from fatherless homes, all around children desperate for positive male role models. As it was 8 years ago, the Rattlers of Arthur F. Smith found themselves in need of someone most teams take for granted, a basketball coach. With no one willing to take the job, the team was in danger of disappearing.
Hey, you got a big game today.
Until that is, Willie Davis stepped in.
And the man that's the greatest, Mr. Willie Davis!
In Davis's first 4 years, the Rattlers won 3 league titles. Stressing a run-and-fun game, Smith Junior High racked up a remarkable 121-21 record over 5 seasons.
And you have a motto, Willie, right?
Exactly.
And that is what?
Our mottos, the Lord, books, then basketball. First of all, you got to remember the Lord woke you up that morning. Books, you got to have books to play basketball. And then when you get the books, then you got a chance to play basketball.
Good job, cut him off!
I'm reaching out and trying to touch a kid, trying to just get him to get focused and stay in school, to get that education, go try to get you a good job, and that's your way out.
A lot of coaches preach that gospel, but Willie Davis was unlike any other middle school coach. You see, Willie didn't teach any classes, he wasn't a guidance counselor, he didn't even have a high school diploma. When Willie Davis left the court, he was the school's janitor.
You're the custodian here.
I'm a custodian, that's correct.
The janitor.
The janitor. I come to clean rooms, wax floors, cut grass. You know, that's my job.
8 hours a day, 5 days a week, $19,000 a year, Davis swept and cleaned for a living. But where he truly shined was out here, after school, doing a job nobody wanted.
To find a minority role model is difficult enough. And to have that role model here, I think is very, very important.
David Brasher is Willie Davis's best friend. Formerly the athletic director at Smith, he had coached with and against Davis in youth leagues for years.
And they decide to hire the janitor.
Right, which is a unique thing in itself. It was being in the right place at the right time. He was qualified other than he didn't have a degree.
All right. The decision to hire Davis was left to the local school board. After weighing the legal liability, the board decided to make a very large exception and put the care of Alexandria's children in the hands of a custodian with no formal education.
The decision to hire him, I think you said it made you look like a genius.
Yeah, when he goes, 34 games before he loses his first one, that does make me look like a genius.
Donald Welch was the principal at Arthur F. Smith.
I didn't hire him to win ball games. I hired him to work with young people.
I want it. Do you want it? Yes, sir. Can hear you. Yes, sir. Come on, man. It's 5 games now.
I hired him to do all he could to make these kids' lives different, and he has done that.
I love kids, you know. I know if I wanted to work with kids, coaching was a good time. I can touch some kids and try to get some feedbacks and things I've been through in life.
1, 2, 3, rise!
That's because, in many ways, Davis's childhood was rooted in the same kind of life. Raised one of 10 kids on this farm just outside of town. Shortly after finishing 9th grade, his father died.
I took it in the daddy role as a young kid, and I wanted to work and take care of mom and help pay the bills at home so we can, you know, have things to eat in the house.
Dropped out of high school?
Exactly. Like, you know, I think back in the days, if I had somebody that was doing things I'm doing now for kids, I think I'd be way ahead than where I am now.
Darwin?
Yeah.
Davis's stay-in-school program started right here at home, where he and his wife Margaret put all 3 of their children through college.
I need to check on the student.
All right. Who you got?
But his concerns for education reached far beyond.
Willie got 100 on both of those. He's had 4 pop tests. He's made an 80, a 90, 100.
All right.
Rule number 1 for Coach D's extended family: no grades, no play.
Before basketball started, I had a D in math, and he told me, don't come to practice no time soon. Just stay in your books. So I finished my books, and then my next report card I had a B. Then he told me I can come back.
He's like my father to me.
I gotta have 20 points out you stir.
See, I ain't really have no person to know, like a grown man to look over me like he do.
For kids like Justin Sterling, Davis's influence hit home. Like on this day when Justin ditched school and earned an unannounced visit from his coach.
We saw something today. You went to one of your players' houses, brought him out, brought him to school. You talk about saving kids. What does that mean to you?
I feel like I'm grabbing somebody and making a difference. Because if you're a coach, you gotta realize everybody don't have a silver spoon. Some people have a problem in life, and that kid might be just one.
As much as Willie Davis meant to this school and community, truth was he was lucky to be anywhere near this court. State guidelines stipulate that only certified teachers with 4 years of college and specialized training are allowed to coach.
The fact of the matter is, if somebody walks in with a teaching credential and wants to coach, conceivably they could have your job.
Right.
Is that fair in your mind?
Well, I'm gonna say no, but you know, that's when the degree come in handy. You know, I go back and get my piece of paper.
Is that what you want to do? Is get your diploma, your
Exactly.
GED,
Right.
and get a degree,
Get a degree.
teaching credential?
Exactly.
Then they can't move you out.
And they can't move me out. And I can come and do bigger things.
When we left Willie Davis 3 years ago, he was juggling 3 jobs and struggling to find the time and money to get back to school and earn a teaching certificate. Shortly after our piece aired, he received an anonymous phone call from a benefactor who offered to pay for his education.
Phone call came and it started talking, saying so many good things about, first of all, we want to help. You know, whatever it takes to get you get your education, we want to pay the total package.
But before he could go anywhere near college, Davis first had to hit the books and earn his GED. Good luck struck again when Hollywood called with a movie deal based on his life, starring actor and rap superstar Ice Cube.
I was all up in stars, you know, knowing all this good stuff was happening. It was like a dream come true. And then it's like, you know, a storm just came in, like just rolled me over into the storm.
The storm, as he calls it, began with the death of both his brother and his mother, just 6 months apart.
Felt like I lost 2 of my best friends, you know, and it really was a big blow to me. it really took me to the bottom of the barrel.
Times quickly got even tougher. Davis lost his custodial job at Arthur Smith and was switched to another school. The school district called it routine personnel reshuffling. But Davis believes that some within the school administration grew jealous of the attention he'd received and orchestrated the transfer, charges the district flatly denies. Either way, the new job with its new schedule made it impossible for him to coach the team.
What was the hardest part for you, Willie?
The hardest part when I found out that I wasn't going back to coach at Arthur Smith, the little kids, that still wanted to be a part of, of the kids' life at that school. And I got a conversation personally with the principal, said no, that they're going to hire somebody on staff.
They're going to take somebody from the staff and move them into that
position,
middle school basketball position,
with some big shoes to fill.
Fact is, Davis's lack of education had finally caught up with him. Frustrated and disappointed, he quit the school system and now works for the City Parks Department. At night, he studies for his GED, hoping to someday coach again. As for the movie deal, well, that's currently on hold with no definite plans for production. Things may not have turned out as Willie Davis once planned, but the old coach isn't giving up.
Willie, your goal when we first spoke was to get that teaching certificate.
Right.
Do you still think you're going to get it?
At this point, I don't think I know I'm going to get it.
And you still got those hopes for this happy ending to this fairy tale?
Exactly. It's going to happen. It's definitely going to happen.
Quick footnote, Willie Davis recently met with the superintendent of schools in his old district to discuss the possibility of coming back as a volunteer assistant coach next season, possibly at his old school. That decision is yet to come. As for the movie about his life, it is supposedly, in Hollywood parlance, back in development.